guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Faith and I am an online fashion reseller, primarily selling on apps like Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari. In today's video, I'm showing you my new office. A few months ago, we were able to move from a one-bedroom apartment to a two-bedroom apartment, which means now I have a dedicated space for my reselling business. I don't know if some of you may have noticed in the background, things look a little different. So today I'm going to give you the full look at everything in my new office. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe so you never miss any more content with me. All right, let's get into it. So on this first back wall is where I have my clothing rack. This came along with me in the move. This was in my previous setup as well. But if you remember, this was at the foot of my bed in my old apartment. I did all of my photographing. I literally pretty much did everything just in the one little section at the foot of my bed, so everything was super crammed together. Now there's definitely enough space for this rack, and I thought that it fit nicely with the new space, so I definitely kept it along with me. I hang all of the items that still need to be processed right here, so right after I go sourcing, I put it on a hanger, stick it here, and that's how I know it still needs to be photographed, listed, and put away into my inventory system, which I'll show you a bit later. I still use my Jiffy steamer to steam all of my clothing before I photograph and model the items. You definitely don't need a steamer that is this heavy duty. I did not start with this. However, I really do like it because of the tank size, so I don't have to continually keep refilling it in between uses. So that is definitely a plus to it, but as far as how it steams, honestly, it works the same as any steamer, so definitely get whatever is in your budget. I previously was using a command hook for all of my photographing for the hook right here, but I really could not find a command hook that held a lot of weight and stuck very well on the types of walls that I have. I think this is called stucco. Literally every single wall in California has the same kind of wall, and it does not hold adhesive very well. So this one is nailed into the wall with a hook. And the good thing about that too is I can steam over here, and the steam doesn't loosen up the stickiness, or there's no adhesion that is going to loosen up with any moisture. So that is another reason why I love it. And the brushed gold, I think, just adds a great touch to my photographs and makes everything look a little bit more elevated and I guess luxury, I suppose, because that's kind of the vibe I'm going for with my closet. So this is the mirror that you see in all of my modeling pictures. I use this to model all of the cover photos for my pieces. So after I'm done photographing on the hook and I finish everything that's on the rack, I come over here and I model the piece, and that's when I'm done with photographing. I honestly wish that this mirror was a little bit wider, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. You notice I don't have a lot of photographs or anything on the walls. That's because I kind of like the white walls and how the light is bouncing off them, so it makes it super bright in here, and it also doesn't distract from the piece that I'm trying to photograph when I am modeling it. I have these two sliding doors with mirrors on them for the closet doors, and it's double-sided, which is really nice because there's a lot of room in here. So this is where I hang all of my more delicate pieces that I don't want to fold up and put into the storage bags in the bins down below. So a lot of the linen dresses I tend to hang because they wrinkle so quick. Also, a lot of the leather jackets are just kind of bulky and don't really need to be jammed into a bag, so I prefer to hang them. I hang all of the shorter items on this side so that I have room for the bins underneath, and then all of the longer maxi dresses or long winter coats go in the middle section so that they can hang all the way down to the ground without getting ruined when I move the bins in and out. Up here is where I store all of my shoes. I have some of the more irregular boxes on this side, and then as you go more to the right is where I boxed all of the other shoes in the free USPS boxes. So I don't have them totally wrapped up. I just have a small piece of tape closing the box so that they can all stack, and then I have them all labeled on the outside so that I can easily grab the pair of shoes once it sells. As you can see, I have a lot of shoes. It's definitely one of my favorite categories to sell, but I definitely have a limited amount of space available to me, so that does limit the amount of shoes I can have in my inventory at a time, but it is definitely a decent enough space to hold a lot of shoes. For the bins underneath, I have a storage system where I letter each bin, and within each of those has the letter of the bin and then also the number of the item. The bins can fit around 20 to 25 items depending on what is inside them, and I have found that this system works really well for me. I can reuse these bags as well, so I'm not being wasteful. So over on this side, I definitely have more of those shoe boxes like I was saying. And I have a little bit more room back here for when I expand my inventory. I'm always trying to grow, so I'm not at capacity yet, which is good. So I definitely have more hanging space for more delicate items, and I also have a little bit more space where I could stack some bins if I'd prefer to use that space that way, which I think I might be more leaning towards, especially as we're heading into summer, so jackets aren't going to be taking up as much space in my closet. This is also where I keep a lot of my free USPS boxes. You can go on the USPS website and get these boxes for free, so you're not paying a ton of money on shipping supplies. I definitely need to re-up on my supplies because I don't have a lot right now, but that is where I keep those. And then also my excess storage bins for when I need to add some or take some away depending on how my inventory is fluctuating. This is a light box that I purchased to photograph all of my shoes. I have seen such a huge improvement in my pictures. I've tried a lot of different systems. I have a photo board that I use to take flat lays on, but then it gets a little bit tricky when you have taller boots and there's like a weird background. I have done a lot of different editing, and by far this is the best system that I have found. I actually pretty much took all of the advice from Ashley at Recloth Collection and how she photographs and edits her shoes, so I will link that video down below, as well as the light box if you're interested. I will say that it is on the larger size, so if you don't have a ton of office space, you might want to check the measurements on the Amazon listing to make sure that it can fit your space, because it took up a little bit more room than I would have liked, but it does make a huge difference. It's also not perfect. I still do choose to edit my photographs even with the light box, but you can definitely do whatever works for you. Next is my desk. This is where I do all of my listing, my online sourcing, my YouTube video editing, my inventory management, my financials for every single month. So this is basically where all of the work gets done. While it's super awesome that there's so much natural light in here, all of the sunlight makes it so hot in here. It honestly is an oven, but you know what? It's okay. At the bottom of the desk, I have some storage space. So this is where I keep my Rollo. 110% recommend a Rollo. That is probably the #1 tool that I recommend as a reseller. I do have a regular printer as well, because sometimes I have labels that don't configure to the Rollo size. And plus I want to print things sometimes that aren't a label. Something I also really want to recommend that I got off of Amazon, I'll link it down below, is this cord condenser. I don't know really what to call it, but it's this piece of like kind of like elastic, and it holds all your cords together so it doesn't look like a hot mess underneath your workspace. Over here is where I have most of my shipping supplies that I use on like a day-to-day basis. I have the clear poly bags that I use, and then also some of my more fun like shipping poly bags. I have regular black ones, I have larger ones on the bottom, and then just some tape and my scale and some craft paper back there. This is definitely not going to be the final spot for all of my shipping supplies, but I just have the key items out that I use every single time that I ship, and since I am grabbing those items every other day or once every 3 days, I want to have them in a place that's super accessible. But in the future, I would love to get more of an enclosed like storage drawer system or something like that, but I have yet to find something that I like, so for now they're just gonna stay right here. Alright, that's all I have for the office tour. I hope you guys enjoyed and got a little sneak peek into what my day-to-day looks like in here. If you enjoyed this video, again, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe, and make sure that you have the bell clicked as well so you can get notified every time that I post a new video. Alright, thank you guys so much again, and I'll see you next week.